I'm 30 now, turning 31 in a couple of months, and these are honestly some of the things I wish I'd actually understood earlier in my 20s. Specifically, the decisions that quietly shape your entire trajectory. Because when you're like 20, 21, 22, everyone tells you got plenty of time, and you actually do, but then something weird happens in your late 20s. You start looking around and it becomes really obvious who used that time well and who didn't. You'll suddenly see who built the momentum, and you'll see the people who played safe and stayed stuck in the same place. And what's honestly terrifying to think about is that most of these outcomes didn't come from one massive decision, they came from small decisions repeated for years. So these are the 7 decisions in your 20s that I genuinely think decide the direction of your entire life. The first decision is your relationship with comfort. I'm gonna give you 3 immediate things here that 99% of my audience can relate to. Number 1 is wanting to start a business or a YouTube channel, but you keep waiting. Number 2 is playing it safe for too long. And number 3 is getting out of your shell and actually talking to women or people that you want to approach, but you never do. If you could relate, like most of my audience can, understand that this is completely normal, but it is a trap. And it's not a trap you want to stay in, unless you want to stay like this for the next 10 years. I love the phrase that life starts outside the comfort zone. And when I feel fear now, I use it as a guidance signal, not something to avoid. Because if you're dreaming of moving to a different city, I want you to think about what the worst thing that can happen is, and the potential upside. That's what I did before moving to Copenhagen. I realized that if I had stayed in Aarhus in that old job for many more years, I would stunt my own growth. And at this season in my life, growth is what I care about the most. I want to become that person, that ideal character that I envisioned myself, and I'm getting closer and closer, day by day, week by week, year by year. And that has come way outside of my comfort zone. It's taken me around a year to really enjoy living here in Copenhagen, because a lot of things were new for me, a lot of things I had to change around my life, my habits, things that I would just do without thinking about it. It actually took me some effort now, and I didn't have the same amount of friends here as I did back at my hometown, so I have to actually make an effort to make new friends. But man, it's been so rewarding actually realizing how much I've grown socially and how easy it is, quote unquote, for me to make these new friends and to challenge myself to grow through taking risks and through my relationship with comfort, which is completely different from when I was in my early 20s, when I would just consume courses, YouTube videos, but not really take the action from the videos and from the courses. I was what they used to call a theory junkie, somebody who just watches endless stuff without actually stepping out of the comfort zone and actually take the action. Decision number 2 is figuring out how much you're actually escaping yourself through alcohol, dopamine, and similar things. I first realized this when I went on exchange in Cardiff, where I got to experience the UK drinking culture, and I had just had my first heartbreak right before going there. So what do you think 22-year-old Marcus did? Of course he went out. He drank every single day. He even drank on Mondays and Tuesdays sometimes. And it was vodka and like pretty strong stuff. I would be running on 4 hours of sleep. I would just do anything to escape myself. I would always listen to music. I could not stand the silence. And that meant that I was always pushing myself away. I was pushing my own thoughts away. I never allowed myself to really trust in myself because I had this feeling that I need to numb the real me. I cannot show myself to other people. And looking back, I will agree, it was a load of fun going out and having those experiences. But what was not fun was the pain I felt the day after going out. And when I realized that I was only able to be like this because I was relying on these substances. And then I would immediately, put something in that would numb myself in terms of a uplifting YouTube video or more music. It was just not really good for me. My mental health was not good, and I was really addicted to other people's approval as well. If you don't learn to accept yourself the way you are and realize that you can actually change if you're not happy with the person you are at this stage in your life, then you're very likely to keep falling into this hole of overstimulation, dopamine, hiding from your true self, and not showing your true self to the world. You have a gift to share, even if you don't believe it yourself at this stage. And if you allow yourself to be less stimulated, to rely less on cheap dopamine, on alcohol, on drugs potentially, if that's a thing you're doing, then over time, the real self will reveal yourself. You won't have the split personality that I felt I had when I drank alcohol. That'll be integrated in the real you. You just need to give it time. It is a matter of being very, very patient here and getting a delayed reward way down the line. But let me tell you, it is totally worth it, and I would not go back to that stage. Decision number 3 is how seriously you take your body. When you feel comfortable in your own body, You will exude confidence, respect, you'll have better energy around yourself, more attraction, and you'll just generally feel better about yourself. Even if you don't really believe this at this point, try to consider somebody who's quite overweight, let's say 120 kilos. He's walking around with this giant belly of his. He's not getting any attention from people, and people actually don't respect him because they can tell he's unhealthy, compared to somebody who goes to the gym 3 times a week. Not a bodybuilder who's taking testosterone and steroids and all of this, but just like a normal healthy guy that's been working out for 3 to 5 years, has an aesthetic body that is not over the top. They can tell this guy works out, this guy takes care of himself. Your physique is the first signal you send to the world. If people don't know you, that's your first impression. And I've just noticed that people, they treat you differently when you look strong. It changes how people speak to you. And your body is one of the few things in your 20s you can massively improve with little money and just time alone. And time is what you have a lot of when you're in your 20s. So you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't do anything to improve yourself physically, because it directly goes into your mental health. And there's so many ways to do this. I went from the skinny phase to progressing at the gym to now trying some Krav Maga, which is very recent, but that is part of the journey, just experimenting with things you like and also improving your style, because the clothes you wear, they directly reflect your self-image and how you feel mentally. I'm not saying to go out and buy super expensive clothes. I mean, I mostly wear the XL slim fit t-shirts from Zara, which fit really snugly around my arm and my body, and it shows off my physique in a subtle way. And I do feel confident and strong walking around in this X-large t-shirt, being fairly slim, and that positive energy projects onto others. Which leads me into decision number 4, the people and environments around you. You become who you spend your time with, and your environment highly rewires the standards you set for yourself. So your friends can really make or break your journey. If you hang out with 5 millionaires, you're probably gonna be the 6th millionaire at some point, if you stay in that circle. And if you hang out with 5 drug addicts at the time where they're taking the drugs, you'll most likely take drugs as well. So try to audit the people and environments around you. If you have people that you don't think are good for you, you can try to think about, am I actually just being judgmental just because they drink a couple of beers? Or are there some qualities to them that is the reason why I'm friends with them? Because if there are, you don't have to cut them off if that's your first instinct from me saying this. You can still spend time with them, just spend less time with them in that environment that is hurtful for you. Ideally, you find people that are close to your level, some slightly above, some slightly below, and some on your level. Spend 33% of your time with each of these groups if you want to be autistic about it, and that will probably give you a very balanced mix of fun, learning, and general fulfillment. But of course, this doesn't apply if the people below you, they are really hurtful for you, or you don't enjoy hanging out with the people that are slightly above you in terms of where you want to be in life. So just really audit your friend group and the people you hang around with. This can also be your family, your girlfriend, people at your workplace, people at your university. There's always different ways today to find new friend groups if you want to. Even if you have social anxiety, even if you don't feel too comfortable with it. There's online communities, there's apps you can use to find friends. You can start a new hobby and meet people at a club where people actually have a similar interest. There's so many ways to do this. But I just want to leave you with the fact that a support network really does change your entire life. For decision number 5 is whether you build something of your own. Literally everyone today is a consumer, but much less people are a creator. And this creates an imbalanced seesaw where there's a huge demand for the content, but there's not that many people creating the content relative to the amount of people consuming it. So even in 2026, where there's so many YouTubers starting, and I've been doing videos for a while, and there's people that started way before me that has been doing videos for a while that's still doing the videos, there's plenty of space for you to be in this space if you want to be a YouTuber as well, or you want to start a personal brand of some kind. That side project can quietly become your future, and Newsphere is a big part of what is now shaping my future, because I'm not making a lot of money from this at this stage, but it is showing the potential of me building this audience and having a personal brand, and me sharing my stories, sharing my lessons, and offering to help people to actually monetize their own YouTube channels, connect with their audience, and grow fast on YouTube. And if you want that kind of help from me, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll see if and how I can help you. But really, if you're on the fence of starting the channel, do yourself the favor of just posting the video, because the first video is the hardest one, and as soon as you've posted a couple of videos, things, they do get easier. But of course now there's the whole notion of posting strategy, how to grow faster, how to connect with your audience, how to monetize. And again, feel free to DM me on Instagram if that would be useful to you. Decision number 6 is who you date. Relationships, they either multiply your mission or they can drain your mission. And a lot of men, they end up giving away their edge in their relationships because it's very easy to get comfortable. Your girlfriend wants to go for ice cream a couple times a week, and if you're not careful, you'll get complacent and let yourself go. On the other side of the coin, a good relationship will allow you to keep working on your goals and not hinder your dreams and the things you want to build. But I do see a lot of people trying to speedrun the whole relationship thing with buying a house as quickly as possible, getting married as quickly as possible, getting kids as quickly as possible. If that is your goal, then fair enough. Go ahead and do that. But I think for a lot of people, a lot of men especially, they would rather not do all that at age 22. They'd rather want to build life experience, build themselves up as a character, and then do all these things later. While in my personal opinion, women, they often want these things and they've wanted these things much earlier than men do. So be careful that you're not only doing this for your girlfriend, fiancé, wife, whatever the title is, and you actually also consider your own goals and what you actually want to do. Because if you do this too quickly, you might derail your ability to build something for yourself because now you don't have the time because you have the kids. You don't have the energy because that goes to the kids and the family. You might not have the energy to meet new people. You might not have the energy to go to the gym. So build these habits first, in my opinion. Before you really settle down, you do all these things. That'll make your life a lot easier in the long run. And the final decision is whether you actually take the shot. If you think your opportunity is going to arrive eventually when circumstances are better, that's not how it works. You take the action first, then you make your circumstances better, and then the opportunity arises. At age 30, I'm getting more opportunities than ever because I've put in the work for the last 5 to 7, 8 years, I would say, in terms of self-development and building stuff, building myself up to become a better person in very many aspects of my life, including my mental health, the gym, my social competencies, emotional mastery. Now the world is much more open for me because I took those steps. So if you think somebody's coming to save you, I'm sorry to break your bubble, but that's probably not gonna happen for 99% of you. So let this be your call to action. Whatever you want to do, take that shot. And I know your 20s are messy, confusing, painful, and also exciting. But know that at this stage, if you're still in your early to mid 20s, you're expected to make mistakes. And even if you're in your 30s now, and you haven't really built the life you wanted just yet, go and make those mistakes. Because you're never going to get to the point that you really want to get to. And all the small things you do, even today, they compound over time. And eventually, those repeated decisions become your life.